Welcome back. Today, we are taking a close look at a United States quarter connected to one of the most important locations in American history, the Gettysburg Quarter. This coin carries a face value of just 25 cents, but its historical story is worth far more than its denomination. In this video, we are exploring the history, design, specifications, minting details, collecting appeal, possible rarity factors, and the reported $1.8 million value claim associated with an exceptionally valuable 2026 example. The Gettysburg Quarter is presented here as a 2026 United States coin connected with Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, one of the most important locations in American history. The story behind Gettysburg begins with the American Civil War. The Battle of Gettysburg took place in July 1863 and became one of the most important battles in American history. The battlefield later became a protected national site, and Gettysburg became a place dedicated to preserving the history and memory of the soldiers who fought there. That historical importance is exactly what makes this quarter fascinating to collectors. The Gettysburg design represents one of the most recognizable historical locations in the United States. The imagery associated with Gettysburg serves as a reminder of the soldiers, sacrifices, and events that took place during the Civil War. Placing such a historic subject on a United States quarter transforms a small piece of metal into a miniature historical memorial. Now let us examine the coin itself. On the obverse, or head side, you see Abraham Lincoln, one of the most important figures in American history. The coin carries the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, in God we trust, and the year 2026, along with the mint mark shown on the coin. Lincoln's presence gives the coin an especially strong connection to the history of the Civil War and the Gettysburg story. When you turn the coin over, the reverse connects the quarter to Gettysburg and its historic significance. The design represents the Gettysburg subject associated with this coin and creates a direct connection between American coinage and one of the country's most famous historical locations. The combination of Lincoln on the obverse and Gettysburg on the reverse makes this coin particularly interesting for collectors who appreciate American history. The 2026 date is one of the most important details to examine on this example. Collectors should carefully check the date, mint mark, lettering, surfaces, edge, and overall condition. The mint mark can also be important because different production facilities can create different collecting categories. Any unusual characteristics should be examined carefully before a major value is assigned to the coin. Now let's talk about the physical characteristics. A United States quarter is a small denomination coin designed for everyday commerce, but its exact composition, weight, diameter, thickness, and finish can vary depending on the specific issue and production type. Collectors should therefore compare the exact 2026 example with reliable specifications for the particular issue before determining whether it is a normal circulation coin, a proof, an uncirculated issue, or an unusual collectible. This is where the search for valuable examples becomes much more interesting. When someone hears that a Gettysburg quarter could potentially be worth $1.8 million, the first question should not simply be, "Is this the Gettysburg quarter?" The much more important question is, what makes this particular coin different from other quarters? A normal quarter should not automatically be valued at $1.8 million. A multimillion-dollar valuation would require extraordinary circumstances connected with rarity, condition, and authenticated mint error, an unusual variety, provenance, or another documented characteristic. Condition is one of the most important factors in the coin market. A heavily circulated quarter may show scratches, contact marks, wear, flattened design details, and damage around the rim. An exceptional uncirculated coin, however, can preserve much sharper details and cleaner surfaces. If an example is being presented as extremely valuable, professional examination of its condition becomes especially important. For a coin to command an extraordinary price, collectors would expect something genuinely unusual. A major minting error can sometimes make a modern coin dramatically more interesting. Errors can include wrong planchets, dramatic off-center strikes, multiple strikes, missing design elements, or other production abnormalities. However, not every unusual-looking coin is a valuable error. Professional authentication is essential before assigning a major value to any unusual example. Another important factor is certification. If a coin is claimed to be worth an extraordinary amount, collectors should look for certification from a respected professional grading service. A certified coin has been examined and assigned a condition grade, giving buyers and sellers a much stronger basis for evaluating it. Certification can also help establish whether an unusual feature is genuine or simply the result of damage that happened after the coin left the mint. This brings us to the $1.8 million figure. The $1.8 million amount is the value claim associated with this video, but it should not be interpreted as the standard market value of every Gettysburg Quarter. The actual value of an individual 2026 example would depend on its authenticity, exact variety, condition, rarity, minting characteristics, certification, and documented market evidence. So if you have a 2026 Gettysburg Quarter at home, don't immediately assume that you are holding a $1 million coin. Instead, inspect it carefully. Start with the date, and make sure the coin clearly shows 2026. Next, examine the mint mark and compare it with known examples. Then inspect the surfaces under good lighting. Look for unusual doubling, dramatic striking problems, missing details, abnormal shapes, unusual metal characteristics, or other features that clearly separate the coin from a normal example. Do not clean the coin. This is extremely important. Cleaning can permanently damage the original surfaces and may reduce collector interest. Even if the coin looks dirty or dull, its original surface can be more valuable to collectors than a polished appearance. Instead, place the coin in a safe holder and have it examined by an experienced numismatist or professional grading service if you believe you have something unusual. The historical connection makes this quarter especially appealing. Gettysburg is not simply another location connected with American history. It represents a critical moment in the nation's history. The Battle of Gettysburg became one of the defining events of the Civil War, and the location later became a place of remembrance, preservation, and education. A coin connected with Gettysburg therefore combines American history with modern coin collecting. For collectors, this type of coin is particularly interesting because it brings historical subjects into the world of everyday currency and collectible coins. Someone looking at a quarter may see only 25 cents, but a collector may see a connection to one of the most important chapters in American history. The combination of Lincoln and Gettysburg makes the coin especially meaningful because both are strongly connected with the Civil War era. The 2026 date also makes this particular example important to examine carefully. Collectors should not rely only on the date when determining value. The date is one part of the identification process, while the mint mark, condition, variety, era status, and authenticity can have a much greater effect on the final market value. This distinction is important because online coin listings can sometimes use dramatic headlines such as, "Gettysburg Quarter worth $1.8 million. Collectors should always ask which exact coin is being discussed. Is it a normal circulation example? Is it a proof? Is it an uncirculated issue? Does it have an authenticated mint error? Does it have an unusual variety? What is its certified grade? And most importantly, is there documented evidence supporting the claimed price?" These questions can mean the difference between a fascinating collectible and an exaggerated internet valuation. For someone searching through a collection, the 2026 Gettysburg Quarter is still worth examining carefully. Even if your example is not worth anywhere near $1.8 million, it can still be an interesting historical collectible. The coin's true appeal comes from the combination of its design, historical subject, preservation, and potential rarity. Imagine holding this quarter in your hand. On one side is Abraham Lincoln, one of the most recognizable figures in American history. On the other side is the Gettysburg subject connected with one of the most important battles in the nation's history. In a small piece of metal, the coin brings together a powerful chapter of American history and the fascinating world of coin collecting. That is what makes coin collecting so fascinating. A coin can have a small face value in everyday commerce and yet carry a story that is priceless from a historical perspective. and if a particular example has an extraordinary mint error, exceptional condition, unusual variety, or another verified rarity, its collector value can become dramatically different from its face value. So, if you have a 2026 Gettysburg Quarter, take a second look. Check the date. Check the mint mark. Examine the design. Inspect the edges and surfaces. Look for genuine abnormalities. And never rely on a sensational price claim alone. Before believing that a coin is worth $1.8 million, seek professional authentication and documented market evidence. The Gettysburg Quarter represents the combination of American history and modern coin collecting. Its connection with Gettysburg makes it a fascinating subject for collectors, while the reported $1.8 million figure makes an extraordinary example especially interesting to investigate. However, the actual value of any individual coin must be determined from its precise characteristics, condition, authenticity, rarity, and documented market evidence. So before spending, selling, or making a major valuation claim about your 2026 Gettysburg Quarter, examine it carefully and get expert confirmation. Because somewhere among ordinary-looking coins, unusual pieces can sometimes hide in plain sight. This is Coin Market Insider, bringing you deeper stories behind America's coins, their history, their designs, and the details collectors need to know.